Today we are going to learn a very interesting topic of the social studies. That is our 12th chapter of our 10th standard. That is the world during the world wars. So now let us discuss. What are these world wars? Why we call them as a world wars? Any one of you has any idea? See, all of us know that generally when almost all the countries in the world has part of the war that we call as a world war. How many world wars has been happened till today? 3 or 4? Sorry. How many? 3 or 4? How many world wars? So the world wars has been happened till today is 2 world wars. That is World War One and World War Two. So World War One, that is from the year of 1914 to 1918. So this is the time period when World War One has been happened. Next is World War Two. That is, it has been started in the year of 1939 to 1945. So these are the 2 world wars which has been happened in our world and which has been marked an era, an importance, which has been changed the face of the world and which was responsible for many things. What are these many things and what has been happened, how it has been happened, what were the reasons? All these things will be learning in this particular chapter. Particularly in simple, we learn about the world in during 19th and 20th centuries. Okay, we learn about the world during the 19th and 20th centuries. These we'll be learning in this particular lesson, the world during the world wars. Okay, so now if we enter into the topic, the first topic is the 20th century. Okay, the 20th century. So here this 20th century is also called as the age of extremists. Age of extremes. Okay, it has been said, or it has been described as age of the 20th century as the age of extremes was described by a historian called Eric Hobsbawm. Eric Hobsbawm. Okay, he's a famous historian of the Europe continent. He has been described this 20th century as the age of extremes. Why it has been described as the age of extremes? Because here 2 types of situation was there. The first one was during one hand the fascism was growing stronger and stronger because of no questioning authorities or no answerable by the rulers or who is ruling the people or the rulers or the fascists. So on one hand this is growing more and more stronger. That means like a dictatorship, something like that. So it was growing on more and more stronger. And in the second hand, some people were fighting for the sake of implementation of the democracy. Okay, that means on one hand fascism, and other hand it is democracy, where people are struggling for that. And along with that, even many other things also have been happened during this 20th century. The life expectancy of people has been increased. Along with that, even the literacy rate has been increased with introduction of different types of educations. Then along with that, even new arts and skills also have been introduced, like movies also has been introduced at that particular time period. And more than 100 countries have become independent all over the world. And because of a lot of development in the science and technology, as I said, the life expectancy of people has been increased more and more up to more years. And more people had access to for the better education. Like almost all the changes in the world has been happened during this 20th century. And at the beginning of the 20th century, the world was divided into 2 developed industrialized countries of the world, particularly the West, including 2. Okay, one is in the West, that is by Britain, USA, Germany, France, Italy. So like this, all these countries have been grown into 2 different industrially developed countries, like Britain, USA on one side, Germany, France, Italy as the other side. Something like that. They have been divided the country into 2 parts. Okay, West means here the Western countries, the Western nations. So along with the colonies of Asia and Africa, they have divided into 2 groups, 2 developed industrial nations, or 2 industrialized groups. Like with even the countries also have been divided into 2. The industrial countries have split into 2 enemy groups or blocks. that is again here it has been divided into two industrial groups, here again into two enemy groups. The one is Germany, Austria and Hungary, not Hungary, Hungary. Okay, and second part is Britain, France and Russia. Okay, so like this, so these are one side, these are one side, like that. It has been divided into two groups, and each group wanted to dominate the world and control the world and control more and more colonies and markets in the world. Because of that, which led to the wars, which we call as world wars. Okay, 1 and 2. So now here the first war has begun, as I said, in the year of 1914. It lasted in the year of 1918. So in the year of 1914, when this World War I has been broke out, at that time, why we are calling it as a World War means, see here, as I said, here two groups are there. So when one group has been entered, along with that group, even the colonies which have been occupied by them, even that countries also has been involved in this war. So majority of the countries, not leaving any country, almost all the countries, either maybe the imperial master or maybe a colony, they have involved in the war. So with the involvement of all the countries in the war, we call it as a World War. So as I said, the World War I, which has been broke out in the year of 1914 and ended in the year of 1918. Okay, Britain and France defeated Germany and its allies in the war. Okay, Britain and France, they have defeated their opposite group, that is Germany and its allies. Allies means the countries who supporting Germany. So the group of Germany, and they were defeated in the war in the year of 1918. Okay, so now we learn something about causes of the world wars. What are the causes for this world wars? So what are the causes for this world wars? There are many reasons will be there. Among them, what are the causes? So the first thing is aggressive nationalism. Okay, second is imperialism. Third one is secret alliances. Fourth is militarism. Fifth is Balkan politics. And sixth is immediate cause. So now first let us learn about aggressive nationalism. What is this aggressive nationalism? See, we have a feel of nationalism. Even I feel, okay, I am an Indian. I respect my country. I love my country. I am proud to be an Indian. I am proud of my country. Like this we call as a nationalism. This we call as a nationalism or the nationalist feelings. See, during the time of unification of Germany and Italy. Okay, so like the chancellor of Germany, Mr. Bismarck, who played a major role in the unification of Germany. So during the time of these, unification of Germany and Italy, at that time, the ideology of this, nationalism has been created, a pride and a respect towards the feeling, and along with that, when they got pride and respect towards their own country, at the same time, even they developed a negative opinion or a hatred against the neighboring countries or the neighboring fellows. See, if I say that, okay, I love my country, I am an Indian, all Indians to be the one, all Indians should be united. So like this type of feel I have been developed. This we call as nationalism feeling. So along with that, if I develop a negative feeling about I hate Chinese or I hate Japanese or I hate Pakistanis, something like that, this type of feeling, if I develop this type of hatred feeling among us, then it creates this type of feeling we call as aggressive nationalism. That means where I feel that only Indians are the great people in the world, only Indian has to survive, Indian has to rule the world. This type of opinion, this type of feeling has been created, a type of opinion among the people, and that has been created to the upcoming of these like the feelings of the Germans, like Nazis, the coming up of the Nazis, or different types of other activities which have been created, aggressive nationalism, which is a destructive mode from the year of 1923. Because the coming up of the Nazis, the coming up of the Hitler and many more other things, even the way how these Germans have been mobilized, that means gathered the people throughout the country to be united, the same way along with the united feeling, even they have been developed a hatred feeling against the neighboring countries as well as neighboring people. So that means aggressive nationalism, in simple we can say, it is a nationalist feeling where one develops utmost love and respect towards their own country and hatred towards others, neighboring countries or neighboring nationalities. That we call as aggressive nationalism. So was the first reason for the world wars was aggressive nationalism, which is not at all good for the society as well as for the world. Second thing is imperialism. Imperialism here, as we know that when the European nations have been introduced, there was a introduction of the machines and industrial revolution took place in the European nations. At that particular time period, they require what raw material for their machines. Once the product has been manufactured, again they require market for their products to be sold. That means they are bringing raw material, they are making their machines to work, they are producing some of the products, and these products again need to go to the market and sell them. Then only they can earn money. As all of us know that most of the European nations were developed, advanced and rich. So because of that, there was an industrial revolution. The machines have been introduced, and with the coming up of the machines as well as the industrial revolution, more and more they wanted raw material to give work to their machines. So for that purpose, they went in search of the raw materials, like how Britishers came to India for the search of the raw material. When they came here, when they got the raw material, then immediately they took this raw material to their country. They had a trade links, they had trade business. So the main reason or the foundation for this imperialism was at a trade. Because of the trade, people have been moved around the world. They exploited the world, Europeans moreover, like the countries from Britain, France, like well as even maybe Italy, Portuguese, Dutch, all these type of people who are like East India Company. All these have been went in search of the raw material. When they got raw material, they established trade links with the countries, and after the product has been manufactured, again they went in search of the market. So trade for the sake of raw material, again markets. So for this purpose, they have been went on exploitation, exploring the world, and when they felt that these colonies, some of the countries in the continents of Asia and Africa, particularly, who were completely backward and they were not that developed, or they were not that strong, or they were not that educated or rich or wealth or something at that time, they occupied these countries and made them as a colonies. Okay, what is the purpose of making these colonies by the imperial master? For the sake of the economical benefit. For the sake of the economical benefit. So when a country is occupying other country or occupied other country for the sake of the economical beneficial, that particular type of system is called as imperialism. Okay, a country occupying another country for the sake of economical beneficial, which we call as a imperialism. So that imperialism, what are the ways which leads to the imperialism means trade. Okay, for the sake of raw material or for the sake of markets. Okay, most probably they found that two things in these two continents and they occupied them and they made them as a colonies. Okay, for their own economical beneficial, they have occupied the countries in the world. Okay, these we call as imperialism. Imperialism in simple we can say, imperialism is a system where a nation occupies another country or a country occupies another country for the sake of the economical beneficial and rules the country economically and likewise politically also. That system is called as imperialism. And next what we have is secret alliance. So what is this secret alliance now? Okay, alliance means group. Okay, so the group which is formed secretly, that means without knowing to the world, this we call as secret alliance. So here, after defeating France in the year of 1870, okay, who Bismarck, the German chancellor, so he wanted to isolate France. That means he wanted to separate France. Isolation means separation. So he wanted to separate France. So for that sake, he had been made an agreement, a secret alliance with Austria. Okay, in the year of 1879, and Italy in the year of 1882. Okay, yeah, it is 1879. 1879 with Austria, and with both Austria and Italy in the year of 1882. And these three countries, which are the three countries? Germany, okay, Austria and Italy. Okay, these three together called as a triple alliance, because three countries, so it is triple. Alliance is group. Okay, they formed a triple alliance and they formed a group. Okay, triple alliance. Alliance means group. These three are the countries. Countries are three, so it is called as triple. Triple alliance, they have been formed by Germany. And next, by seeing this, even the France also wanted to enter into an agreement. So France has been made mutual alliance with the countries of Russia in 1891 and Britain in 1904. Okay, these three countries, who are that? France, okay, then Russia and Britain. These three formed a triple entity. Entity is also nothing but a group. Okay, these are the three countries. So triple entity means a group. So actually, why they form these groups? They form these groups to help each other, to coordinate with each other, to support each other whenever it is required, to have a mutual support. These countries have been formed these groups. One is triple alliance, one is triple entity. Triple alliance is formed by Germany, Austria and Italy. Okay, whereas triple entity is formed by France, Russia and Britain. Is that clear? So why they have been formed this group? Just actually the ideas of Bismarck, okay, the Chancellor of Germany, after defeating France in the year of 1870 to isolate France. Bismarck has been made a alliance, a treaty, an agreement with Austria and Italy, okay, in the year of 1879 and 1882 respectively with both the countries, and they formed a triple alliance. By seeing this, even France also wanted some support from other countries, so they made an agreement with Russia and Britain, and they formed as one group that we call as triple entity. And next what we have is militarism. Okay, what is this militarism? See, militarism is a belief that military power is a power which can protect the country, or which can save the country from enemies, or which can defend the countries from external or internal affairs, which can control the country, which can control a peace, or which can control the power in a country, that they have been felt. So that we call as generally militarism. Here we have six developed countries in the world. They are, the six developed countries are Germany, Russia, Italy, France, Britain and Austria. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 developed countries or big countries in our world, what they felt is that they thought that they need to have a strong military organization. Then they started spending money on developing the military. So how much they started spending? See, in the year of, it is from pounds, 132 million pounds, it has been increased to 397 million pounds. 397 million pounds. Okay, it has been increased, okay, within very short span period of 1880 to 1914. Okay, so they started maintaining very large standing army, and even giving importance to have more and more weapons, then trying to compete with one another. If one country is having 1,000 standing army, another one wanted to have 10,000 standing army, another one wanted to have 50,000 standing army. That means soldiers. Then different types of weapons, like we have PSLV, that is different types of weapons, whatever we have. There's different types of weapons, like nuclear weapons. If one country is having 5 nuclear weapons, another country will have 10 nuclear weapons. Like this, they started competing one another and started spending more and more money in the development of the army, or in the maintaining of the army. And with these, what happened, there are 3 important things in the context of militarism. Firstly, all these countries had built massive standing army. Second thing is they started competing with each other, and the third one is large industry of weapons emerged with constantly promoted ideas of using war as a solution to diplomatic problems. That means some of the diplomatic problems is like confused problems: who to rule the world, how to rule the world, how to occupy the world. Like there's some diplomatic questions. As I said, most of the countries were trying to most of the groups were thinking to dominate the world, to rule the world. So they felt that how to rule the world. So war is the only source. If we defeat our opposite group or alliance, then immediately we'll get the power, or we'll rise to the power, and we can control the world. Like this type of different types of thoughts and different types of activities, different types of opinions has been made the countries to think war as a solution for many of the diplomatic questions. So another one is Balkan politics. What is this Balkan politics? Balkan politics. Balkan is an island. Some of the group of island nearby Indonesia we call as a Balkan Peninsula. So here we have many small kingdoms. So people belong to many of the sectors, languages used to live here, and they were all under the control of the Ottoman Empire of Turkey. Used to rule all these Balkan states. So after the downfall of this Ottoman Empire of the Turkey, most of the countries after the downfall of the Ottoman Empire of Turkey, the countries like Russia, as well as even Turkey, and even some other countries like Austria, Germany, Turkey, Russia. Okay, Turkey, Austria, Turkey, Russia, along with that, even, yeah. So they are the countries who trying to control the entire Balkan Peninsula. That means they started one country trying to occupy or dominate one of the nations. At that particular time period here, Austria and Turkey and Russia, they used to control the Black Sea and Mediterranean Sea regions into their hands. At the same time, Austria was trying to suppress the Serbian rebels. That means in Serbia, Serbian are the people, category of people, how we are the Indians, like that Serbian also a type of a sector of people who used to live in these Bosnia, in one of the island of the Balkan states. So in Bosnia, we have a Serb called, a category of people called Serbs or Serbians we call them. So they were rebelling against the Austrian rule. As I said, Austria, Turkey and Russia trying to dominate or trying to capture the Balkan islands. So at that particular time, these two are trying to dominate the areas in and around the Black Sea as well as Mediterranean Sea. So always there was a tense situation between that regions. Always between these two, always there used to be fight. So always people used to be in tense situation or like problematic situation. Then here the Austria was trying to dominate the Bosnian islands, nearby areas, which was under their control, and they wanted to establish a rule over there. So at that particular time period, okay, something has been happened which has been lead to the immediate cause of the World War I. See, it was on June 28th. June 28th. It was on June 28th. Okay, Bosnian Serb. That means a person who belongs to Bosnia, who was a Serbian. Serb means nothing but a category of person, sector of person, as I said earlier. So this person has been assassinated. That means killed. Okay, the French Duke, Archduke, Mr. Ferdinand. Okay, he was a person who used to going to rule the. He was a prince of Austria. Okay, he was killed. Okay, Mr. Ferdinand, Archduke Ferdinand was killed. Okay, by this Serbian, yeah, a Bosnian Serb. Okay, and Hungary and Austria. Okay, Austria and Hungary. Okay, he was of that one, that area. So Austria asked Serbia for the explanation on July 1914. July 1914, this Austria asked explanation to Serbia. Asked explanation to Serbia to give explanation on the assassination or the killing or the murder of the Duke Ferdinand. But Bosnia or the Serbia doesn't respond to that particular areas or doesn't give any response to the explanation or the question asked by Austria at that particular time period. Then Austria has been took the help of some of the countries. Okay, then they are Germany, and the countries who support Germany has joined with Austria. Okay, which is called as the Central Powers. Okay, then in the Allied group, as I said, Bosnia, okay, which was under the control of Russia, Turkey and other things. So even France was also there. So at that particular time period, Austria was known as this Central Power, and we have Allied Powers. Allied Powers means the opposite group of the Central Powers. That means the one who is starting the war is called as Central Powers or Axis Powers. Okay, the other group on whom this Central Power or Axis Power is doing war, they are called as Allied groups. Okay, they are called as Allied group. So they have declared war on Serbia. Serbia is towards the side of the other countries, like even some other countries also have been supported these. They are like the countries of France, then USA, Russia. All these has been in the support of the Serbia, and they have been started the war. So one is Axis group, another one is Allied group, and the World War I has been ended with the end of the war, with the defeat of the Axis power in the hands of the Allied powers. So as I said, Russia was the first country to join the war, but even Russia was the first country to withdraw from the war also. Why it has been withdrawn from the war? Because of some internal problems, which we'll be learning in the upcoming topic. Because of some of the internal problems in their own country, Russia has been withdrawn from the war, and at the same time even US also jumped into the war towards the Allied group, because the Axis powers have been destroyed one of its commercial ship, Lusitania, okay, in the year of 1917. Thus USA entered into the war, and the war ended with the defeat of the Axis power in the hands of the Allied groups. Then after the World War I, what was the condition? The world after World War I. So what has been happened immediately? How the war has been stopped? The war has been stopped with a treaty called Treaty of Versailles. Treaty of Versailles in the year of 1919. So during the year of 1919, there was a treaty. Treaty means agreement. Okay, it was a mirrored palace in Versailles, the capital of some of the major famous town in France. There they had a treaty or the agreement, that is in the year of 1919. So here, what type of different types of discussions have been happened over there in this treaty, in this agreement, and finally they have been made up to some of the conclusions, like the Axis powers like Germany and the countries who are in support of Germany like Italy as well as some other countries. So they have been occupied some of the colonies that have been distributed among the Allied powers. Then the Ottoman Empire was again re-established. Most of the countries have been got republic, and the Republic of Turkey has been established. After that, what you can say, Ottoman Empire, republic has been established, and most of the countries which have been occupied, and most of the European countries have been divided. Germany also, the countries or the colonies which have been occupied by the Germany, they were also got independence, and some went republic. Some of the countries went into under the control of some other elite group or the European nation. Some were independent and republic, they started ruling themselves. Like the different types of things have been happened, and the colonies in Africa and Asia were divided among these elite groups. And later on, a large number of new countries were also formed, like Austria, Hungary, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Estonia. Then along with that, Latvia, Finland, etc. New countries are also formed. Along with this, even the Treaty of Versailles also has been laid a heavy penalty on Germany, both in monetary terms as well as even in like cash and kind, like this, like some of the major what you can say economic sources of Germany was occupied by the allied groups. And along with that, even they have been asked Germany to pay more and more, a huge amount of war indemnity. That means, which we call as, in Telugu generally we call it as Nashta Pariharam. Okay, so war indemnity by Germany for, because which was the main responsible or the major country which entered into the war for the first. They entered into the war and made all the other countries also to participate, and almost at the same time everyone wanted to showcase their own power, their own strength, to know where they stand and to control the world. Even majority of the countries also have been entered into the war, and finally they made Germany to pay the war indemnity. With these type of agreements, the Treaty of Versailles has been concluded. Again, at the conclusion of the Treaty of Versailles, they have been came with a proposal of forming of a international organization which is called as the League of Nations. The League of Nations. It has been formed in the year of 1920. Okay, the architect of this League of Nations was Mr. Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson, the then Chancellor or the ruler of USA, we can say. So he was the person who has been came with a proposal that we need to have a international organization where we can control the wars, to have peace, to maintain peace, to have a friendly relationship with one another, then and to settle disputes through discussions or to negotiations, but not to have any war. And it has been established in the on 11th of January 1920. The organization has been established, and it wanted to have disarmament. That means not to use any weapons, not to have any war, and also along with that, even they wanted to have what you can say friendly relations with one country to another country, and to support one country to another country, to help another nation, to cooperate with each other, and to maintain a friendly, healthy relationship, and not to have any wars in the world. They have been established this League of Nations in the year of 1920, and at the beginning it was started with 85 members. 85 members were the members of this League of Nations when it had been formed. And actually, frankly speaking, the League of Nations was a big failure because of many reasons, which we can discuss in our later sections. Because of the failure of the League of Nations, we had been experienced World War II. Okay, World War II has been experienced by the world because of the failure of League of Nations. And the upcoming topic of our lesson is the Russian-Soviet Revolution. That what is that revolution? Why there was a revolution? As I said just before, we have been discussed. Russia was the first country to enter into the First World War, and the first country to withdraw from the war also because of some internal problems. We have been said that internal problems, what are that we are going to discuss in our next topic. Okay, that is the Russian-Soviet revolutions. So I think now it is clear to everyone how the world was between the wars. What was the reason for the what you can say wars? World War One, like the reasons, the causes for the World War One was, the first thing is aggressive nationalism. which is not at all good for the nation. The second thing is imperialism, and the third one is secret alliances, and next one is secret alliance as well as militarism, as well as Balkan Peninsula or the Balkan politics, and the immediate cause. What was the immediate cause of the World War One? The immediate cause of World War One is the assassination of French Archduke Mr. Ferdinand, along with his wife also. Here they have been not mentioned in your book about his wife. Even his wife was also there along with him when he was murdered by the Bosnian Serb. Okay, so both were assassinated. That means they were killed. So because of that, there was immediate breakout of the war, World War One, and it has been ended. It has started in the year of 1914 and it has been ended in the year of 1918 with the Treaty of Versailles in the year of 1919, and the League of Nations, which has been formed in the year of 1920, was a big full stop for the World War One, and also it was a big beginning for the World War Two, as it was a big failure. Okay, next we'll learn about the Russian Revolution in our upcoming topic. If you have any doubts in this topic, please ask doubts in your comment section. Thank you.